How do you talk about money with important people in your life without fighting about it or turning it into a total shutdown? Most of us weren't taught how to do this, but it's one of the most important skills that we can learn. I'm Ellen Rogin. I help people stress less around money, create more confidence, and build prosperity on purpose without the push. And having great conversations with people we love around money is such an important part of doing this. An Empower study found that 62% of the people in the study said that they were uncomfortable talking about money. And in the same study, 66% said that being able to have conversations around money helps build generational wealth. So they know it's important, but it's really uncomfortable for us. Actually, it's more uncomfortable than talking about death, sex, and politics. Money is one of the most tricky things for us to have conversations about. No wonder it's one of the leading causes of divorce. A Fidelity study found that 42% of the people in their study had no idea how much money their spouse made. So if you don't know what money's coming into your household, how can you build a healthy financial life together? If you've ever been put off by having a money conversation, you're not alone. We were not taught how to have conversations around money. It tends to be such an uncomfortable topic for people. But the good news is you can learn to do this. So how do you start to have a better conversation around money? Well, the first step is for you to get really present and clear on your intention from that conversation. What would be the most ideal outcome? Often we head into these conversations with trepidation about what it's going to be like. I'm sure they're going to be defensive or it's going to turn into a fight. And that way, when we go into a conversation like that, we're already going in with weird energy. So instead, if you were to just get really quiet and present and think about what would be the most ideal outcome, how would you like to feel and communicate during that conversation? With openness, calmness, maybe lightness, because people are so heavy when it comes to money. And then how would you like the other person to react? Now, of course, we can't control how other people are going to react, but if your intention is one that they're open, that it's an easy conversation, you can even start the conversation by saying something like, I'm a little uncomfortable having this talk with you, but I think it's really important. And that puts the other person in a place where they're going to be more open. Or I'm worried you're going to be upset with this conversation, but I really want to have this with you. So any kind of way to tee that up could be a helpful start for this. The next part is for you to not be judging how the other person is around money. So go in with more curiosity than judgment, perhaps channel your inner Ted Lasso. That when we come with curiosity, it helps us ask better questions and be more open than when we're judging where someone else is at with money. Be a really good listener. And part of being a good listener is giving them your full attention. Often we're thinking about what we're going to say next or what we're afraid is going to happen. But when you can be truly open, the other person feels more comfortable expressing what's going on for them. Conversations can get easier over time. It takes some practice. If you find you need help with these conversations, that they just aren't working, then get a third party involved. Perhaps it's your financial advisor, a therapist, a money coach. That can help lower some of the stress because people tend to be on their best behavior when there's someone else there. When I was a financial advisor, I remember couples that would come in that was the sole reason that they engaged to work with me. Because I know one of the people in the relationship had deep financial background. They could have probably done their own financial planning. The other person wasn't necessarily in the same background, and they were clashing all the time talking about money. So having someone to help them plan for their future and make the conversations go more smoothly made it all easier. I also remember hearing about a couple who were both very smart. The man owned a business, very, very successful. and wanted his wife to go along with an investment decision. And I know that he was thinking, oh, if she just understood this, she would agree with me. So high on judgment. She was someone with a CPA background. She knew money. It wasn't about understanding it. Where she was coming from was how much is enough? Like he was working all the time. And her reaction was, we don't need to do this. We have enough. So neither of them were really communicating in a way that made sense. Having a third party there could ask questions like, wow, it really sounds like it's not a matter of understanding this. There's something going on for you. What is that? Where if there's two people having a money conversation and one is so convicted that they're right, it's almost impossible to hear what the other person is saying. And if the other person doesn't necessarily have the tools or even the understanding themselves about what's really going on, it's hard to have those conversations. They can get easier over time. This question came from the Money Talks cards. This is one of the wisdom cards. So, how do you navigate financial discussions, conflicts, and decisions with family members, partners, and friends? So, think about that for yourself. And it's probably different with different people. It might be different in your work setting, it might be different at home. But to be thinking through, how do you deal with these? Do you just ignore them? Do you go in with you're right, they're wrong? Are you open to having better conversations about this? Will help you create a beautiful financial life with your partner. That is one of the Money Talks cards. These are 48 conversation starters around money. And what I've seen over and over is that when you're asking bigger, better money questions, your relationship with money improves, your relationship around money with other people improves. And this is a way to create more prosperity on purpose with more ease and more joy. So you can find these at a link below. If this type of conversation is interesting for you, I hope you'll subscribe because there's more videos coming on how to stress less, prosper more, and create an even better relationship with your money.